Hello and welcome to the Retro Detroit Nerd Fighters podcast. My name is Ian the Well-Informed. I'm here with Phil the Philibadger.
Got any stock tips, Ian? I'm looking to get in on the market. I'm sorry.
I used to watch Sonic the Hedgehog, but not anymore.
Well, you see, if I wanted to stock items at Kroger, I mean, I would, or any other grocery store. Would you happen to have any tips for that?
No.
No.
I wouldn't know what to tell you about that. Do you mind if I change the subject for one moment?
Yeah, go ahead.
And then go back? Yeah.
Well, we'll definitely circle back to Game Stonk here.
Yeah. So I know that you played on the you know people from Red Wings, right, Dave?
I mean, I used to a lot more than I do now.
Yeah. Have you heard of a news reporter named Richard Curbelo? By chance? No, you don't. No, most people know him from hockey. As like a news reporter for for like Detroit type sports, like Detroit Red Wings and Detroit not Detroit Lions, Detroit Tigers. And this week I believe he actually passed away.
Oh, okay.
So not because of COVID, just a failed colonoscopy.
Okay. Yeah, I just Googled quick. Yeah, he's the guy that died because during he was having a normal colonoscopy and wound up dying. Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't know him that I didn't play any of those professional sports, but I knew him from Coles. He was one of those people who was, I would say, an excellent customer service person. Not being funny there.
Yeah, I mean, he's the guy, and having just seen his picture, yeah, I mean, I remember seeing him around. I mean, I wouldn't call him a friend or anything like that. I mean, honestly, I know more just because of reading the stories about, the declining situations at Beaumont, because they've been outsourcing various departments. People have been quitting and leaving. So yeah, I mean, it's a really screwed up story.
Yeah, unfortunately, he means a lot to a lot of people, and I mean, especially within what's it called? Within sports media and in retail where I used to work. So
Gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's two things that broke the internet. Do you when I say you, I mean Phil. Do you want to talk about how Bernie broke the internet like Wreck-It Ralph?
I'm going back to my coffee. Have fun.
Okay.
Oh well, where wasn't Bernie Sanders last week?
I put him on the moon with the ET picture.
Oh, nice. next to the rovers that are up there.
Yes, exactly. Wherever.
Yeah, we definitely had our fun with that meme. So
yeah, I was just like, Me personally, I was hoping that would um it would have more happened closer to the weekends so that you could have like weekends with Birdie, things like that, memes. Because it would have probably had more days to be high charging meme, but
Well,
you
it
can't
it
win them all.
can't win them all, and it's been there, done that. We've had our fun, and let's move on. Let's move on to stock tips.
Stock tips. I mean,
Yes.
I was wanting to I was gonna start the intro as saying my name is Robin Hood the Well Informed, but I don't think Robin Hood was informed this week.
No, I think Robin Hood, and when we say Robin Hood in this sense, we're talking about the investment platform that markets itself as being for the little guy. I think they showed who they really were this week, and I have a feeling we won't be seeing too much of them in a while. Whether they
Wha-
just go away or they rebrand, or yeah, it's not a good look for them.
And um, one of the places like we know we take a lot of stories from Philip DeFranco, and he was like, "I'm never putting them as a paid promotion again. They're not
Mm-hmm.
getting sponsored on my show ever again,
Mm-hmm.
no matter how tempting it is." But yeah, for
Well,
anybody who doesn't
but
know,
let's back up and put the story into context here. Um, there's a subreddit called Wall Street Bets, and they had gotten wind of a particular stock, in this case, GameStop. Um, a bunch of through a bunch of hedge funds had collectively shorted 120% of the available GameStop um, stock that's available to purchase. And for those of you who are bad at math, 120% means that they had shorted more stock than is actually available in the market to buy. So the Wall Street Bets submarket took. Oh, and these hedge funds took a short position on this stock, which basically means they were betting on the stock to continue to fall. And we know GameStop as a retailer isn't doing so hot. They're managing to stay afloat by I don't know how. Must be black magic at this point, but the point is they're still around.
I mean, they have Freddie Fizeme, so,
That's true, yeah.
but I don't think that's enough.
No, I don't think it is. I think that they were and continue to circle the drain, but that's beside the point right now. Um, the Wall Street Bets subreddit had noted that the the stock was shorted to based on 120% of the available stock in the market. So they had the bright idea, hey, let's buy a whole bunch of cheap GameStop stock using various investment platforms. One of them being the Robinhood app was, I think, the primary vehicle for this. And the long story short, and because I don't really understand the stock market, but things happened, and the price of GameStop stock went up through the roof. And continued to go up. I think it went past Bernie Sanders on the moon. Um, but the end result was the stock went up from about $2 a share to I think around 300, and continued to climb. And then basically putting all of these hedge funds who had bet on the stock to fall, putting them in a very awkward and perhaps bankrupt, a position that could lead them to be going bankrupt. Um, and all basically causing financial markets to go crazy, financial media to go crazy, saying, what are these guys doing? Inviting calls for regulation. Um, Jim Cramer losing his mind on CNBC. And then, but the loosely organized group on the Wall Street Bets subreddit is continuing to hold and putting these hedge funds in a very awkward position. And as somebody who's who's watching all this from the sidelines, I'm cheering on the subreddit. I'll know that nobody likes hedge funds these days. I think they kind of do. They're people think they're just a bunch of billionaires, and that's probably what they are. And I think if these hedge funds cut out the $5 lattes and the avocado toast, I think they'll get back on their feet in no time. All sarcasm intended.
Yeah, it's just I'll go into a little more detail. I've done a little bit of stuff before. I've worked a little stuff before, like to your point, it was around $2 to $4
when all this started.
And then it first day it saw a massive spike.
Yeah.
It went to like 150.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next day it went all the way up to 370
mm-hmm.
per share. And then
the thing about these hedge funds with their short positions, they, without, I have a very basic understanding of what it means to short a stock. Basically, these hedge funds borrowed some stocks, sold them, and then they have to return the stocks by a given date, at whatever the price happens to be. Generally, this happens when the stock falls. So if you buy a stock for, let's say, $2, you're expecting to have to return it at a price of, let's say, 75 cents. And then you come out ahead. But when you short a stock for $2 and then it goes up to 300, you have to still return that stock by a given date, even if the price is, some thousand of percents over what you shorted it for. So that's how these hedge funds are losing their shirts in such a short amount of time.
They're it's not by a certain day. It's same day. For one.
Is it?
Yes.
Okay.
It's same day. So they buy it and then they either immediately or almost immediately sell it.
Mm-hmm. And then they have to return the stock like by the end of the day, or is that what you're saying?
Yeah. And so because they want that price to slowly go down so that eventually they get a return on their investment. Because they don't want like the excess dividends and to have it show up on their taxes.
Uh-huh.
Because if they lose money, they gain money from like taxes and things of that nature. But because it kept going up and up and up and up and up and up, it yeah, they're losing their shirt because of it, and so they have to now pay taxes on those bets. And subredditors were like, "Do you?" The best memes were like, "Do you even know how GameStop works?" It's
Oh,
it's
I don't think we covered how Robinhood got, how Robinhood the app became a part of the story. As the GameStop stock continued to climb, the Robinhood app actually blocked new, folks from buying additional GameStop stock. And I think there's a couple other stocks involved in this story, but if you've heard of this story, it's with GameStop. So that's where we'll focus. And then
yeah.
that and I think folks rightly saw that was a violation of the Robinhood mission statement.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was like a violation of the mission statement, and uh, from what I've heard, it's it was encouraging people. It was forcing people to sell their stocks um, no matter the cost, and that's
That part of the
a
story,
very bad look.
yeah, that part of the story I hadn't heard. I just heard it as I heard some rumblings about it, but I didn't see it from enough sources to really take it seriously. But I've
You
definitely heard that Robinhood was stopping folks from buying new GameStop stock.
Yeah, they're forcing. Yeah, you couldn't buy and you could only sell your stocks, and that's a
Right.
very
Yeah, you could
bad
only sell
image.
or you could hold, but either way that's a bad luck.
Yeah, for anybody in the stock market, that's a bad that's a very bad look, especially seeing that um especially for extended periods of time.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I personally a the best meme that I like is that they're taking from the rich to give to the poor, and they, because of GameStop, they did crown a new billionaire. Somebody who was poor ended up becoming a billionaire out of all this. So
Oh, really? Yeah, I hadn't heard that, but that's good for them.
yes. Um, but yeah, but then Robin Hood did the exact opposite. So from a from an out from out from us outsiders looking in, it's just funny all around.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm sure that the people who were bought stock from Robinhood app are royally pissed,
And they should
aka,
be.
and they should be, yeah. But yeah, it's like I'm happy I happy I don't have any stock in Robinhood. I have
Mm-hmm.
a few in another place, but yeah. Yeah, we talked about how Robinhood broke the internet, Bernie broke the internet. Um how about a third? Third time's a charm, right?
Sure, yes.
One of our favorite people we like to interview, like we take news from, is Jim Sterling, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Um, he went online last week and announced that he's changed his name. Goes now James Stephanie Sterling.
Okay, that I hadn't heard.
He says he's come out as trans non-binary.
I thought I heard something about that.
Yeah, so I keep seeing memes all over the place that he is memes that he created that he's um gender trash now. So I don't know too I know I know that we wanted to talk a little bit more about people in the trans community. I don't necessarily know a whole lot about non-binary. I know, like from I'll do my due diligence with like, um, as somebody who has autism, always, always, don't assume. Uh, ask what their preferences are.
Right.
Ask questions, stay informed
Mm-hmm.
in that sense. But yeah, that's a his gender doesn't reflect how on the type of quality content that he makes. He makes
Mm-hmm.
great content, and I'll always say this, that his format, the way he presents himself has changed over the years,
Mm-hmm.
especially after the death of Total Biscuit.
Mm-hmm.
It's changed considerably, but other than that, he's I would say, a pretty great person.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know what to say more about that. Or what do you think?
Yeah. Um, I don't watch, I don't watch him all the time. Um, um, Actually, I'm not sure what pronouns he chooses to use right now.
His pronouns are he, him.
Okay. Yeah, so I don't watch him all the time. Usually I watch his videos when he's picking on EA or Ubisoft, or I think 2K is another one of his constant targets. Um, I don't agree with him 100% of the time. But I do think his voice is a good one to have in the conversation, because he does stand up for the average consumer, who's does tend to get lost a lot of times.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of games that have microtransactions or loot boxes or things of that nature, he's always one to make sure people are informed. And yeah, our show and his show, we don't see eye to eye on some things. Yeah, I don't agree with everything he says, but
Yeah,
he's
like I can't I don't always agree with microtransactions. Most of the time I don't, but I can't go as far as James and say, just because a game has microtransactions means it's automatically trash. I just can't go that far.
I'm like I went on to a stream yesterday, and they were giving out a free download to a game called Ninjala. If you've
Hmm.
ever heard of it.
Yeah, I think I've heard of that. That's on Switch, right?
Yes and no. It's actually on the Switch.
Okay,
And so it's a free to play game.
right.
There are microtransactions in it. I'm like,
Hmm.
uh, for what a my sort of my golden rule with like games that have microtransactions, if it costs as much as it doesn't matter if it's cosmetic or if they unlock if there's story content on it. I just if it costs around the same as a regular game, all the microtransactions, then I'm pretty good with it. If it's more than that, then I'm not.
Right. Yeah, and I think that's where I usually land as well. You know, but like, I think, I most of the time, microtransactions for like premium currency or, that's where I think a lot of issues are. And I think, a lot of it's sold as, you've paid for the game. Now you're going to pay for additional currency so you don't have to play the game because it unlocks, things that you could have found in game but might take a while. That's where I start to get lost. Um,
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, if it's like anything like the first like Call of Duties, when and I bring this one up every so often, like um, if I if when the game comes out and it's $50 and then there's the microtransactions that are 150 dollars.
and what
I'm
and what are
like,
you buying? I mean, what are you buying with these microtransactions? Is it the premium currency or the cosmetic upgrades or?
like like a new map or a new
Oh, okay.
gun or something like that. It's Call of Duty. It's
Right.
and for
I
mature.
I have yeah, I haven't played Call of Duty since Black Ops, since the original Black Ops. So
Yeah. I mean, if you can a year and a half later go to Target or go to GameStop and see that the game is $20 with all the microtransactions and DLC, then no, it's not. It's not worth buying.
hmm
It's just at the end of the day, that's some pretty shady. But
hmm
I I preferably um not that I like Call of Duty games or first person shooters. I'm not very good at them to begin with. But um if I were um yeah, I wouldn't want to spend that much anyway. So
right.
it's your point.
I mean, if it's, and sometimes I'll hold out for if it's a game I'm interested in, but I know I'm not going to get to it for a while. Maybe I will hold out for the quote unquote game of the year version. That's be out in a year after the game originally came out, and will include any DLC. Sometimes I'll hold out for that. It's
Mhm.
but I
Uh,
think when you in I think Call of Duty is a good example of this. That's a game that what I hear the game, that's typically one you have to play in its moment to get the most value out of the multiplayer, which is what I think most people buy Call of Duty for. Um, because if you wait that year and a half for the complete version to hit target, then might be nobody's playing the multiplayer there, and that wasn't a good, you know. I guess it just depends what you want to get out of a game at the end of the day. Do you want to play it for the story? In which case, yeah, it's always good. Wait till the time is right for you, or do you want to play with your friends in multiplayer, or have some fun in some multiplayer? Which case you might. better off sticking to something new.
I mean, when you look at games in general now, given COVID and things like that, there is a bigger market for there has been a big market for those type of games because it's the only way to interact with people.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Yeah.
I was watching a video from Game Theory yesterday. The video came out yesterday talking about how people and disposable income
Mm-hmm.
and how like the games market was like we're going to lose share from this pandemic and um, logistics people couldn't be more wrong in that in within that space. Like NatPat goes into that. Um, their logic was that people will buy game. People will stay at home. They'll have less disposable money, and so then they'll buy less games. But in contrast, it's people have less money. People have nowhere to go. People will want to have entertainment because they have
Mm-hmm.
nothing else better to do. Games go up as a result.
Right. Uh-huh.
And so because of that, you see games like Animal Crossing and Fall Guys and Among Us getting a lot more attention
Mm-hmm.
than originally planned.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, and I think with Among Us, that came out, I think originally in 2018 and just kind of blew up this year.
the developers of that game were like, we're gonna make um, Among Us 2, and then decided to cancel it because it was like, why don't we just build on what we have?
Yeah, yeah,
It's just
I think
easier.
and I think that sounds like a more pro-consumer move to as well. So,
And I mean, if you're wanting to play like a one-player game by that same developer, Innersloth, it's what it is. There is the
mhm.
Henry Stickmin series too. I'm not doing any I'm not doing any promotion. I'm just
I've never heard of that one. Um, I thought that Among Us was the only game they had done. So,
uh,
but then I do need to give Among Us another try. Um, maybe now that it's on Switch, maybe that's where I can give it a shot. It's only $5, so.
it's worth it. Um I call it ultimate social engineering because you have
Hmm.
to sorry. In case you didn't know, like um what I mean from social engineering is it's a it's a cybersecurity term.
Hmm.
It's convincing. It's talking in order to gain access to things you normally wouldn't be able to.
Hmm.
So it's just like, oh, you're the imposter. You get all these items that you're not used to getting when you're a crewmate, things like that.
Hmm.
Uh, but yeah, I like that. I like that game quite a bit. It's hard to get people though together to play with 10 people and
No, is that a game that's good to better with people that you know, or is it better with random folks, or does it seem to make a difference?
if it's with random people, they tend to um um uh leave early. So if you get it with friends, then they're much more likely to stick with you.
Okay.
It's good if you have it's good if you have something like Discord or
Hmm.
something like this, like Zoom or Google Hangouts, so that
Hmm.
you can hear what people are doing and do something like proximity chat, and
Right, right.
yeah, so but yeah, it's a fun game if you add things to it.
I see.
um
I'm not familiar with Discord, so I'd probably be lost there too.
it's it's a good platform.
Hmm.
You can do recordings and things of that nature, and uh, talk to people on there. It's like a what's it called? It's like a message. It's like a forum, basically,
Okay.
where it's a forum for chat, texting to people and voice recording. So pretty good. Um, good to use.
Hmm.
I recommend it.
Okay.
No promotion there though.
Okay.
um, um, it, um, but speaking of software that works, have I ever talked to you about Black Nerd Comedy, or the
I
person who
don't think
created
so.
Andre?
I don't think so. I've heard of the channel, but that's that's about it. I've not really explored it, so.
Oh, okay. Black Nerd, or um, I like to call him Andre 3000, but it's just Andre. He
Andre 3000 is somebody else entirely.
but yeah, Andre 3000 is someone else entirely. Yeah, I'm being serious, and please call me Ian. But, but no, like one day Andre went to customer service, and um because he's been on the YouTube platform since 2007, and he was like I he was like, I want to make sure that my access and login and everything was working on the front end and the back end. And so customer service assured them that it was, and that they would take care of it. So they, of course, made a ticket and solved the issue. The end.
Hmm.
Not really, though.
No. Oh.
um, so what had happened, he posted a whole video about it, um, is that when he looks at the back end, when he sees the back end catalog of his videos, he could see them.
Hmm.
But every single video that he had on the front end, like, is consumer based, none of them could see his videos.
Oh, that's not good.
He was like, oh, he logs into another account, and that's not him. And he sees none of his videos. And so he's calling up customer service again, is asking what the F happened. I'm like, that, hey, that that seems like a sysadmin issue, doesn't it?
Hmm.
That sounds like a sysadmin problem, like I've ever heard of one, being one. Um, it seems like a a being on working for other companies as a sysadmin and then seeing this, he calls it a glitch, but it's not a glitch. It's probably what probably happened. And it took him a long time to get all the videos back. I think he's got all the videos back now, but
Good.
um one of the what probably happened is back from 2006 to 2010, there's that point in time when it went from that you were defaulting from any email. You could use AOL, you could use Yahoo email, you could use any one of those emails. But then when YouTube got bought by Google, the default became Gmail. And so what happened was probably a sysadmin took access off of one of the non-Gmail email. And because both of them were tied together, somehow it took off everything on the back end, on the front end. I've seen that happen working with GM, and fortunately, like with GM, we had backups and we're okay. But in the case of YouTube, no. Maybe he's posted so much content, they probably have never had that situation happen before. And so from a so the sysadmin and their boss and other people who are probably working the front end just took the videos and repasted them back onto the site, and the rest was history. But it's like that must have been a nightmare on their side. So I would say if you're a YouTube content creator, if you're a YouTube content creator, please, you don't request this until you get a statement from YouTube. Inform other content creators that this is an issue that's not easily fixable. But that's all I have to say on it. Yeah, Phil, as a content creator, what do you think about that?
Oh gosh. I just think, if you're a content creator, it's it's good to know how to keep control of your content. That's kind of like the most basic thing.
Yeah, you just make sure you dot your I's, cross your T's, and be prepared to have some stories about YouTube in the future if something goes wrong. But I just found that kind of interesting how that's a first, even from I've never heard of that happening before till now. But let's see. So Phil, what's that picture behind you?
That is a scene from Watch Dogs Legion.
Oh, okay. I thought you were making fun of Jamiroquai at first because of
You
the
mean some virtual insanity there?
virtual insanity or canned heat, doesn't matter either way.
Mm-hmm. Jamiroquai, that's a name I've not heard in a while.
Uh, so is that game out or is that just
Yeah.
a
Yeah, Watch Dogs Legion, it's been out since it came out in October of last year. I'm playing it on a PlayStation 4, but there's a PlayStation 5 version as well. You know, if you can actually get a PlayStation 5 and not have to deal with the scalper, but
if
it's
you
not
want a
enough.
PlayStation 5?
I did not. No, there's no reason for me to upgrade yet. Not until the new God of War comes out and it's PS5 exclusive. But the rumor is that the new God of War is going to be cross generational as well. So
I've heard great things about those games, but
mhm.
um yeah, and the only other gaming news that caught a lot of attention was the vampire for Resident Evil. Did you see
Oh
that?
yeah, apparently she's like 8 feet tall.
Yep, an 8 foot tall female vampire that is uncomfortable to say the least.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I didn't watch the trailer that closely, but the bits of it I did see, did not figure out she was 8 feet tall. So
Yeah.
maybe I'll have to watch it again.
I I just like watching the pictures. I'm not a big Resident Evil fan, even though
I
maybe I
go
should be.
I go back and forth on that series. I do want to try the remakes of Res 2 and 3. So I'm just
Mm.
waiting for the price on those to come down, so or I can get a good deal somewhere.
Yep, I've seen gameplay of 1 and 2, the originals. Um, um, I like how from I like how they look for the
Mm-hmm.
most part. Um, but yeah, that's all I have. Do you have anything else on this topic?
No, not right now. Might have more to say about Watch Dogs Legion another day, but we'll save it for now.
All right. Um, and 2 weeks ago, something big happened, and now news tends to not be as big as usual. I wonder why.
You mean the whole world breathing a collective sigh of relief that a certain someone's no longer on Twitter?
Um, yeah, quotation marks.
It does feel like it's reduced the temperature, the temperature in the room to varying degrees. So
Yeah, it's somewhat calmer, and in that
mhm.
fact, I know that there's a lot more hardworking people in general now. Just um, I would say less conspiracy theories, less of that,
Oh,
less chaos.
they're still out there. They're just
They're so
they've just been driven to the dark corners of the internet.
yeah.
But for now, I appreciate not having to engage with that nonsense on a daily basis. So
Less consistently, more. Yeah, it it feels different.
hmm
And in this case, different is, I believe, good. There's still some work to be, there's still a lot of work to be had, but it does feel better.
yeah, and if we can keep lowering the temperature, I think, maybe things will start to feel normal and less like a calm before the storm.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, yeah. I, it is calm. And speaking of cold places, have you heard the news about Penguicon?
Well, I know they've I think they're planning to go virtual again this year. I think I saw that they weren't going to try to do an event this year again. So it's in a way it's good that at least the decision was made early, so that plans can be made based on that. Not good that it's they can't do their thing in person again, but that's just going to be the way for a while. So
Yeah, and it's they're putting safety in first.
mhm.
That's it is the right thing to do, and um, based right now, cases are going down.
For now, yeah.
Now, I mean, they're saying that in February, given the trends, we should see a spike in February. um,
Is that going to coincide to the restaurants reopening in Michigan here?
I hope not. But um,
I mean, I haven't eaten in a restaurant since this whole thing started, so
I think I think somewhat I think the messaging like with this president and the people behind him, I don't know. There may be a small spike, but I don't see the spike that they're going to talk about. I think it might level down within this next. It might not be as bad um, as they say it's going to get, but I'm still somebody on the outside looking in.
hmm
They're playing it safe.
I mean,
So,
at least I feel now, we have actual scientists, we're going to get good information from them. Because one of the challenges last year was just, it was so hard to get good information. Because the most prominent source was just so untrustworthy. So, but that just made it hard to find good information. And hopefully now, we have folks in charge who, can tell us, yeah, it's gonna suck, but be ready for that instead. But here's the light at the end of the tunnel, instead of a message of, well, everything's rosy and everything's perfect. Go out to restaurants and spend money, when we can see with our eyes, and because we know math, we can see the statistics. And so, well, the statistics and what we see don't match up with what you're telling us. So what's going on here?
yeah, I mean, I do hope that president does use a Sharpie at some point in time, but I mean, for the most part, yeah, the data from the data that is getting posted is we have reason to believe that it's accurate, or in this case, logistically accurate.
Hmm.
Because because I know how like grant funding works, and things like HUD and what's it called, CDC, how they how their programs work to a sense, to a point, not to a sense, but yeah, it's going to be interesting these next few months. But then we are seeing people getting more vaccines, and
which is good, and hopefully we can get some coordination on the vaccine rollouts, between the state and federal and local governments, which I think will now start to happen. And I think that'll be the best thing to really put this pandemic behind us and get life back to to whatever normal is going to be once we can all go outside again.
yeah, and we actually have vaccine and healthcare data. What a novel concept.
Yeah, it's nice that, we're using data to make decisions and not just what we want to be true. Because we all have certain things that we want to be true, but acting as if it's the case doesn't make it so. And I think
Yeah.
that's one of the lessons of the last year of, just watching all the various responses to the pandemic all across the world.
Yeah. And yeah, we need to bring in a guest that was named Kane, so that in this segment we can say, you can't handle the truth, basically. But anyway, I don't think we have anything else. Phil,
No, and I think we're about out of time here.
yeah. But yeah, Phil, where can we find you?
Well, always and forever hiding out in my basement, and wearing a mask when I go outside and waiting for my notification that my vaccine's ready.
Yeah. And
I expect to be waiting a while since I'm not in any of the high risk categories, but we'll wait and see.
yep, and I'm gonna be doing the same thing. Just building on just working. You can find me at informed.com, informed with an A, and you can find this podcast at Retro Detroit Nerd Fighters on SoundCloud, Stitcher, and other fine streaming services. As always, wear a mask. Don't wear the mask. And
Wash your hands.
wash your hands.
Sign up for your vaccines with your local health department.
Yep, and
Don't forget to be awesome.
don't forget to be awesome. Thank you. Have a good day.